Alrighty, we are live and in living color. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling, where we interview special guests each and every week from different walks of life in the reselling world. Here we'll discuss the highs and lows of reselling and dive into great conversation. We're positive that you're going to hear something that is going to help you become a better reseller. I'm your host, Ray, and I am not joined with my co-host, Dustin, like always. I don't know where he is right now. I did send him the link, so hopefully he pops up at some point. But guys, I am super excited for today because I have, one of the things that I always in the intro, something that's going to help you become a better reseller. And I think I got the cheat code for you right now. I got the contra code. I got the cheat code for everything right here. I'm here with Paul and Faith with my Reseller Genie. Guys, if you don't know who Paul and Faith are, they are the creators of this amazing accounting tool. What would you call it? What would you call the
Yes, it's the accounting solution for resellers.
The accounting, listen to that, guys. The accounting solution for resellers. So we're going to learn a lot. So before we get started, let's introduce here with Paul and Faith. For the people that may not know you guys, could you give us a little brief introduction of who you guys are, and we'll get really down and dirty with my Reseller Genie here in a little bit. So I'm super excited. I don't know. I love, if people don't know, we were talking a little earlier, in my full-time job, I do accounting work on the side. Or that's my full-time job, not on the side. I do reselling on the side. But anyways, I know how much a good tool like this is in my Reseller Genie. And for the people that are not good with numbers, are not good at taking, I don't know. It's a lot to go into. So please introduce yourself, Paul and Faith.
Yeah, first of all, Ray, thank you so much. And Dustin, wherever you are, thank you guys so much for having us on your channel. We're really, really excited to be here. Ray reached out to us several months ago asking us to be on the channel. And unfortunately, we had to say we want to, but we won't be able to until after tax season because that was just a really, really crazy season for us. But here we are, and we're really, really grateful to be here. So thank you guys for having us. My name is Faith. This is my husband, Paul. We've been married for 6 years. And Ray, I don't know if you want us to go into like how we started my Reseller Genie, or if that's all you want for right now.
Sure. So, Paul, Faith. So let's talk about how you've been married for 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And just give a little intro about yourself. Like, what were you guys doing before Paul met Faith? Before Faith met Paul? How do you guys meet, fall in love, get married, and then you have this amazing idea of, you know what? Let's make an accounting software for resellers, because that's there's a lot that goes into that. A lot of behind the scenes. It's intense. So I just want to know that origin story of how that even got there. And speaking of origin stories, we have Dustin in the building coming in with this 56K 720p camera, or what? I don't know.
720. Come on.
There you go. Dustin, this is Faith and Paul,
How's it
the
going?
creators of my Reselling Genie. So we want to get into that, talk great, all the logistical things. I know we're going to get really nerdy, so bear with us. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to help you regardless of what you're doing, reselling wise. And I know Faith and Paul are so nice that they are one of our sponsors on the podcast. So if you want to try using my Reseller Genie, you can use the code NashvilleFlippers, all caps, and you're going to get 15% off your first month. You don't even have to use our code. You can use anybody else's code. We just want you guys to...
No, guys, use Nashville Flippers code.
Yeah, use our code, of course.
We're going to push for you guys.
I want you to know that this is a tool that is incredible, that you need. If you're terrible at keeping track of everything, this is a game changer. So back to the how you guys got started. Sorry, I'm going on tangents.
No, you're good. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So we can go back to how we met. We met when I was senior in college. We got set up on a blind date by a friend, a guy I used to play basketball with.
Oh, man.
neither of us thought this would be the guy who was going to introduce us to our future spouse.
I view this guy like I would one of my little brothers. I love him so much, but I would never trust him with any part of my life.
I wouldn't go so far to say that for me. I didn't expect him to be the one to introduce me. I also didn't expect to meet my wife on a blind date, to tell you the truth. I thought I'd need a little bit more, personal selection, but it really worked out. So he did good. Yeah, he did good. He knew what we both needed, apparently.
Wow, that's funny.
That's great.
It's funny because my wife and I, we kind of met through a mutual friend too, and the friend that we met through was like, again, you would have never thought that this guy could, come to what it is now. But so you guys got together. You're married 6 years now. So when did the idea of My Reseller Genie come into fruition? Like, Paul, I know that you worked as accounting in the past. You got the analytical mind, like Faith. Like, where did that idea come from? Did it come from out of necessity? Was it just like a dream that you always had? Where did it come from?
Yeah, for sure. So long story short, I am a reseller myself. Paul had a background in accounting, and I was actually nannying. I was a full-time nanny when we first got married, but unfortunately, some health issues came up. I had to stop nannying. I didn't have work. I was like, what do I do? And because my health really just put some limitations on me, there wasn't a lot that I could do. So a friend told me about reselling. I was like, all right, maybe this will just be like a little side hobby kind of thing. I picked out a couple things from my closet. I sold them on Poshmark. That was my first platform that I had been selling on. Now I'm on eBay and Mercari and other ones. But I quickly fell in love with it, with reselling, and I became addicted to it. I went to my first thrift store and I was just sold. So anyway, with that, I also joined a couple of Facebook groups, that were for Poshmark, eBay, whatnot. And they were all just kind of saying some of the same things. And the folks, that were bringing up things like accounting and numbers and taxes and all that, they were just basically saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm freaked out. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm supposed to be tracking with my numbers and all of that. And so that just kind of stuck in my head and stayed in there. And obviously I was kind of in the same boat because my first tax season rolled around and it was a disaster, guys. It was so bad. I didn't know what I was doing. And thank God Paul was working in accounting, and he came home one day and he's like, oh my dear, I need to help this poor woman. And he created a really, really just simple spreadsheet for me at the time. It saved my butt with tax season. It was fantastic. Fast forward about a year after that, COVID hit. He lost some hours with his job in accounting. He didn't lose his job, thankfully, but he did lose some hours. And so we looked at each other one day. It was at the onset of COVID. We looked at each other. He had been looking for work, and, I'm still engaging in these reseller, Facebook groups where everybody's just saying, I don't know what I'm doing with numbers and all of that. And I was like a full-time reseller at the time. And I looked at Paul and I was like, Paul, I think that there's a need for what you made me in the reselling community. So I wasn't expecting him to jump on board, if I'm being honest, because he's very analytical. He's a planner. He likes to think through things a lot. And, he did do those things, but he was like, I think we should give this a shot. So we spent all of he spent all of the first summer coding up what was then My Reseller Genie in Microsoft Excel. So it was a gorgeous spreadsheet. But we quickly came to realize that in order to help more people, we needed to move to a web-based software. So it was the year after that, right? So 2 years ago, we spent in full development of the web app.
Yep, 2021.
Yep, 2021. And then we launched it in November of 2021, and here we are. So did I miss something?
That's
Good
great.
overview.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Paul, Faith's telling you we need to do something, and you jumped 100% on board. Did you have any, in your mind, where you're like, how am I going to do this? I can make a spreadsheet. I can for sure make a spreadsheet, and then from there it just kind of grew. What was that thought process in your head?
So I mean, she said I was looking for work, and so the kind of work I was looking for was not like another job. It was more like gig based work. Because something I did in accounting is I learned how to code in VBA, which is like the back end of Excel. And I learned that I could really provide a lot of value by doing that, because you can automate, repetitive tasks and make people's lives easier. Oh. So I thought I'd be able to find freelance work doing that, because I really enjoyed it. And I thought, hey, this is really valuable. But it's really tough, getting freelance work, because there's, a bunch of other people out there who are very talented as well, and they're more established. So, I mean, with Faith's spreadsheet that I've made a couple years before, I'd already kind of thought through the problem and figured out, here's how we set it up in order to, calculate the information you need for your inventory. And it was it wasn't really something that was difficult to think through. It was just like, I needed to commit to, I want to put in the time to try and make this Excel spreadsheet that doesn't really feel like a spreadsheet. So like with that spreadsheet, you didn't really, you didn't mess with formulas at all. You entered everything through forms and used
it was
buttons
very
to click
easy
around.
to use.
Interesting.
It was very easy to use.
So it was a sweet spreadsheet. It just like, I knew it was going to be a big investment in time, but after, falling flat on my face so many times applying for these jobs, and, you see there's like 100 other applicants. It's like, why would anyone look at me? The market's just saturated. And so it was just like, yeah, there seems to be a need here. So let's see if we can make it work. And we found a lot of people were, interested in trying out the spreadsheet. We got some beta testers, and they helped us, kind of iron out some bugs. And
Rest is history.
Yeah. So from there, where did the web app come into play? Like, did you know how to do any of that, or was that something that you were like, do you have a friend, someone in your family? Because that seems like to me, like the idea of developing a web app, it's like, man, this sounds crazy,
Yeah, it's
it was quite
it was pretty crazy, actually. So we had a decent bit of success selling our spreadsheet, and we'd also had some savings set aside. And so like, I'm interested in coding and programming. I knew how to do VBA, but web development was outside of, what I was comfortable with. And I was just like, hey, if we're going to build this, we want to build it right. So we actually hired, a professional developer, and kind of used the cash we made from selling the spreadsheet and then also savings, just to bootstrap it. And
it's been a long process.
Yeah, it's been a long process.
We learned a lot along the way.
It was a lot more than we were expecting it to be. Just like to get to kind of the first version, the first like production rollout.
Yeah.
But then we've been building on it since then. So, it's amazing, like over time, how things grow if you just work at it every day.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that goes to anything, right? If you work on something every day, it's only going to get better. And one of the things that I really enjoy about Reseller Genie with you guys is it's always improving. You guys always have new features coming out, and it's always improving, getting better. And I should have led with this, but for someone who doesn't know what my Reseller Genie is, could you kind of give a brief introduction on that? My apologies. I should have led with that. And people are probably listening to this and being like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. So my Reseller Genie is an accounting software designed for resellers. So we let you track your sales from any and all platforms, including if you sell at like antique booths or, flea markets or something like that. You can integrate your bank account or your credit card to pull expenses in. If you're on eBay, we offer eBay integration, so it'll pull your sales, your listings, your fees, your returns automatically. There's a lot of other features as well. Yeah, inventory is a big one.
And our sales analytics too. Our two top plans have sales analytics, and we just like to highlight that just a little bit because there's a lot of reseller sales analytics out there, but they usually are missing a piece or two, and it can just be kind of hard to really have good insight into your business. Like, okay, what is selling? What sold this time last year? Like, was there something specific about that item? Is it the identical item? Is it, like just all these different things? And one of the cool things about my Reseller Genie is that you can literally filter for any piece of data that you put into my Reseller Genie. So you can search for things in your title. You can search for SKU. You can search for the color of the item, like all these different things. And then use that information to build your business and to make better business decisions moving forward. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. What are and I know there's a lot, but what are the reselling platforms that my Reseller Genie can integrate with? I know there's a huge list, but just to name off a few, could you name off, I guess, the big ones?
Yeah, so I mean, for actual direct integration, eBay's the only one that we directly integrate with right now. That being said, you can also upload Poshmark and Mercari reports. So that's really just you click a couple buttons and you can shoot all that data into Genie. And our plan is to add more integrations in the future. We're just making sure we build things right the first time, hopefully.
Gotcha. That's nice. And again, guys, if you want to try my Reseller Genie, do yourself a favor. It's going to save you a ton of time. Because I mean, the accounting is a mess on its own. And this isn't necessarily and a lot of people get this confused because I get these messages all the time also. They're like, so is my Reseller Genie going to do my taxes? My Reseller Genie is not going to do your taxes. It is a software that gets all that information together for you to to do your taxes. And do you guys get that a lot?
We've gotten that. We've gotten people asking about if we do cross posting, like Live Perfectly does, which we don't.
Yeah, but I don't know, being a reseller myself. So, Paul has the more analytical mind. I'm much more relational. I resell clothes. This is all my inventory back here. That's kind of where my head is at. So I'm really grateful that Paul helped me to get my system in place. And since then, obviously, we built my Reseller Genie together. Oh, wow. I totally just lost my train of thought. What was I going to talk about? Guys, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about how you're a reseller.
No, accounting. Hang on. Okay, yes. So, no, the accounting and the taxes piece. So, you had asked if people ask us if we can file their taxes for them and stuff. So, I think a lot of people can get that confused. But so we basically give you everything that you need to file your taxes. But we're not actually going to file your taxes for you.
Exactly.
But we do, we have some recommendations for accountants or CPAs, if people don't know where to start with that. So
that's good. And another thing that I really enjoy that you guys do are the Facebook group. So if anybody has any questions or anything like that, the Facebook group is a good way to go. But then, I mean, you're answering customer service questions all the time, right, Faith? Directly.
Paul and I, it's a lot of it is Paul actually, but I do more if questions come in on social media, so Instagram, Facebook. I'll answer a lot of those, but Paul, our email support, all of that. And we're really proud of our customer support. I think all of us have had horrible customer support experiences in the past, and Paul and I just decided that is not going to be our company. We're going to help our customers and, whatever it takes. So, what we tell folks is, we always respond to people within 24 hours or less. And it's worked out pretty well. So
that's awesome. So think about that, guys. It's not like this huge company to where you send an email and you're never going to get a response. These are the people right here. This is the brains behind the operation here. So do you guys ever get overwhelmed with everything that you have to do?
All the time.
Just answering all these messages and just.
There's definitely waves. The first week this year sucked. It was rough. It was really rough. But it's just something where you kind of roll with the punches and you adjust your schedule accordingly. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're not answering our customers' questions and serving our customers, then why do we exist? So it can be overwhelming at times, but we both, really value the customers and I think take that perspective, whether it's 50 emails in a day or 10,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No.
I was just going to say, like, we're grateful too, because, the more customer support emails can sometimes mean, that your business is growing. Hopefully that is what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So like with that, like we're able to keep building too, and to just keep helping our customers better. So like we just released a knowledge base in the actual web app, so people can type in their questions there and articles will pop up. We're working on growing our team right now. So there's just like a lot of really exciting things, and but we wouldn't be able to do all of this without our customers. So we're
awesome.
grateful.
That's great. So if you're a person that's on the what would you say, on the fence, and you want to ask any kind of questions, I'm sure send them a message on Instagram, send them an email or whatever. I'm sure Faith and Paul would be more than happy to answer those questions. And again, people that are listening to this or on here right now, answer your or ask your questions. We'll be more than happy to answer those to our best of our abilities. So let's say hi to some people in the chat that popped in. So the people are coming in and out. We have Amanda, Fireball Flippers is here. Joe with I'd Flip That. And Billsy Bear Memories is in the building. And Pickin' and Jeepin', good to see you. And we have Kevin just popped in to say hello. So good to see you, Kevin. Kevin is actually the one that put me on to my Reseller Genie. So kudos to Kevin. So, guys, now that we got to know a little bit about my Reseller Genie as a business, let's get to know a little bit about Faith and Paul as people. We do have a segment on the show called Overrated, Underrated. We're going to ask you 10 different subjects, 5 being reseller related and 5 not being reseller related. And you're going to let us know, in your opinion, if they're overrated or underrated. Okay?
All right.
Now, Paul, I know you're not a reseller, but I'm sure you can relate, considering your best mate is, you're in the reselling world, Paul.
Oh,
you're right in the middle.
I try to drag him to thrift stores when I can. It doesn't go very well, but he tries to be a good sport. So
it's a true gift in being able to find those gems in the thrift stores.
It is. It really is. It really is for sure. So let's go ahead and go with overrated, underrated, number 1. And Dustin, I sent you the list in the private chat, so you should have it there.
I got it.
So first one up, overrated, underrated. Poshmark.
Are both of us supposed to answer, or just one?
Sure. You can both answer.
You go first.
Mm.
Oh, this is really hard.
I
started out on Poshmark, and I know even like with where they're at right now, like I followed everything, just all the changes and the algorithm, if you believe in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say something, and hopefully it's not going to make a few eBay sellers upset. For eBay sellers who are wholly and only eBay, I would say that you guys underrate the power of Poshmark. That's my
Really?
answer.
Okay.
Okay, so oh man, it's tough. All right, I'll say maybe underrated. And so like my thinking is with Poshmark, it's really easy to get on there and like get started selling right away.
Mm-hmm.
I really like their sales reports. Like just the way things are formatted is really nice and clean. I do have some gripes with the sales reports because they don't include canceled sales, but
we're getting too detailed here.
Yeah. I like it. No, I like this. I like this, Paul. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. So I like it. I like it. So Faith, quick question. So you said the eBayers need to take they need to give Poshmark a second chance. Why do you say that? Like, is it the sales, the power of Posh? Tell us about it.
So all I know is this, and I need to be careful with how I say that, because quite honestly, this tax season I have not had much time to do reselling, because all my time has been spent with my Reseller Genie. So things have changed. They just got acquired by, I'm blanking on the name that they got.
Some big company that we never heard of.
Like, there's a lot that's changing right now. So I need to say, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But back when, so last year, the years before, when I was doing great on Poshmark, it's just guaranteed that if you list a minimum of 5 new, for me, clothing or shoes items every day, you're going to be making a lot of sales. So there just seemed to be a lot of consistency. It's like I knew exactly what I needed to do. And I think that that's very similar with eBay too. And obviously eBay, you have a much bigger market. There's so many more, buyers on eBay. I don't want to say one's better than the other, but Poshmark has a lot of pros to it, I think. But I will say this too. I sell mostly clothing and shoes, and those do very, very well historically for me on Poshmark. So if you're doing collectibles, if you're doing, home stuff, things like that, I don't really have much to say about that because I don't have experience with that. But shoes especially, they're dynamite on Poshmark. So
okay, nice. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Number 2, Dustin.
Number 2, Spike Ball.
Overrated.
Spike Ball. Tell us why.
I haven't played it much. I just see everybody who's into it, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really see the big deal.
Paul looks like a good spike ball player. He looks tall. He looks like he has a good wingspan.
I think I've got potential. I haven't played a lot of spike ball. I like the one time I did play it. So she has a really big family. And I was playing with her brothers, and they play all the time. Or maybe I just thought they played all the time, and they're just a better players than I am. So I kind of got a little bit crushed, but it was fun. It was really fun. So I'm going to say underrated because you just dismiss it like that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It sounds like Faith is not very good at spike ball.
I think that's
Probably not.
Right. Okay. I mean, they have like tournaments on ESPN and all this. It's like a big deal.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a big. Yeah. What about you, Dustin? What do you think about spike ball?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
We played it one time in the backyard of y'all's house, so
I know.
I don't know.
And that's about it. My knees can't take too much of that. These knees are getting a little old.
Yeah.
It was fun though when we played.
It was fun. It was fun. So we need to go back to that, Dustin, for sure. All right. Overrated, underrated. And I want to know Paul's opinion for sure on this one. Garage sales.
All right. Yeah. So I'm going to say garage sales are underrated. And that's a great thing because that's kind of a big reason why resellers can make money because people don't realize how valuable the stuff at garage sales is.
Paul, are you a garage seller at all? Do you go out looking for all the treasures?
I'm not, I'm part of the reason why garage sales are underrated because I'm not going out there and finding all the treasure.
All the treasure?
Yeah.
Buying all the I feel like Paul, I feel like you collect something, but what is it like what's like your hobby? Like what do you like to do for fun? Are you like watch movies kind of guy, or are you like collecting like baseballs or from like what is it that what is Paul's hobby?
He likes to code on Microsoft Excel.
Okay. That's a good, I like it.
All right. So like in terms of, if I were to say like, what do I collect? I'm probably not a true collector, but I do kind of collect fountain pens.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So actually, like my love of fountain pens came from when Faith and I met. I'd started a company making pens, like custom wooden pens.
Really? Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely.
What kind of wood is that? Is that mahogany? Cherry?
This, gosh,
Coca-Cola?
This isn't Coca-Cola. I don't actually remember what this is. It's been a long time since I've made pens because no, it's not. But yeah, that kind of like got me into pens, and so like I've got a couple cool pens that I've accumulated over the years. But yeah, I really like writing with a nice fountain pen.
Ooh, I like that.
That's awesome.
So we can't buy those pens now, right?
Yeah, the company is no more.
You know what we should do? Okay, I have yet to do my first live whatnot auction. We should advertise it, picking one of your pens as like one of the opening things that we try to auction off.
I'm all for it. Like I want Paul Resell Genie. I'm all for it. What are Dustin? Do you remember that brand of pens that we always looking for?
Couldn't even tell you.
Oh man,
I got one in the garage actually that I found in the garage sale.
Are you familiar, Paul, with like the brands of fountain pens that are? There's one that we always Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc. Yeah. They're a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones we usually look for wherever we're on a garage sale or on anything. We look for Mont Blanc. That's what it is. Yeah, because they're like, I think like a cheap one's like $200, something like that.
Yeah, they've really built a prestige brand.
Are they overrated or underrated, Paul? Mont Blanc.
Oh, it hurts me to say it, but I think they're probably overrated.
Okay.
But I mean, that's just kind of the nature of like when someone emerges as like a luxury prestige brand. Like the reason they got so big is because their product's fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they get to a point where people like there's this what's the word?
They get too mainstream. It's like a
there's just like there's a power connotation almost with owning that particular brand, and so then people pay more than it's actually worth.
Gotcha.
Because like you're paying for a name, or just
it's like let's say like an iPhone. Like the iPhone is probably not necessarily the best cell phone that you can buy, but you want to buy an iPhone because you want to have an iPhone.
Yeah,
kind of like the same thing.
Yeah,
like
and so
like a Mercedes or Cadillac. They're not probably
Exactly.
the best car, but they have this reputation of
Yes, exactly.
class and prestige, if you will.
Yeah, great phone, great cars, but you're not paying for additional value. You're paying for
pretension. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a word.
Yeah. Pickin' and Jeepin' just dropped $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Pickin' and Jeepin'. They said, put it towards your van fund. All our super chats go towards us purchasing a van from our reselling business.
Nice.
So we're getting there.
That's fantastic.
So, or an
We got 3
SUV.
hubcaps now.
Yeah, we're getting there. We almost bought a Cherokee, but they sold it from under us. So,
Oh, they did?
yeah, I was gonna buy it too. $4,000 for a really nice cheap Cherokee, but anyways,
Bummer.
Faith, overrated, underrated, garage sales.
I'd say underrated too. And honestly, I don't have to add to his. I think the way that he said it was exactly right.
Okay.
And anytime I've gone, I don't know. There's so many treasures to find.
There you go. So we're talking about collecting stuff, Faith. Paul's over here collecting fountain pens. What is Faith collecting? What is her hobby? What does she do? Are you a Tupperware kind of person since Paul's collecting pens? Like, what are you?
That's hilarious. Okay, so I haven't actually gotten a new one in a while, but I've done a lot of overseas travels. And before I met Paul, I was actually on the road, whatever, to become a professional musician. Flute is my main instrument, not the coolest of instruments, but it is pretty. And so I actually would go, like, I would collect wooden flutes from different countries, like from all the different places that I've been to. So I had a pretty cool collection.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So were you going to be like in the orchestra? Like, what does a professional flute player look like?
Like me, no.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess I was headed the orchestra route, but really, like, as a professional classical musician, it's really whatever gig you can land, because the market, but there's just so many out there, and it's so hard, or it's so competitive rather. So pretty much any gig you can land. But I was headed classically, and then I kind of switched to thinking about doing teaching. I opened up my own studio for a couple of years, did that, and then the health stuff kicked me down. So, but anyway, but it's a fun part to my past. So.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Hey, you're always first chair in our book, Faith.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
There you go. See, Mama with the camera is saying, what a unique and beautiful thing to collect. There you go.
Thank you.
So we have Alan stopping by. Good to see you, Alan. Glad you can be here. All right. So moving on. Speaking of music, this is a good one, Dustin.
Taylor Swift.
I used to think she was way overrated, but now I say that she's underrated.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think that she's. I'm going to be careful when I say this. Some people are going to hate me. I think that she's genius with what she puts together. Does she have the best voice? No.
Mm-hmm.
But her ear, like her musical ear, and how she puts together a show is phenomenal, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Full disclosure, I'm not particularly musical.
You look like a Swiftie.
I aspire to be more musical.
There you go.
So I can't really evaluate her as a musician. So I'm going to go back to economic evaluation, and I'm going to say,
I love it. I love it, Paul. Yes, tell us.
Overrated.
That's good. Yeah.
Because,
Overrated.
yeah,
Yes.
what I'm hearing about people, paying for these concert tickets, I'm just like, no show is worth that. That's just me, as accountant speaking.
Who's non-musical.
But that's my perspective.
That's funny. Well, the reason why we brought that up, since we're here in Nashville, she has sold out 3 consecutive shows at the Titan Stadium this weekend. Tonight is the last of the shows this Sunday, and it's raining.
Got delayed.
So it got delayed, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 70,000 people right now in the rain watching her play, and they say they bring a good show. My wife and I, we after church this morning, we went to go get donuts at our favorite donut place, and there was a line, and there's never a line, and we're like, why are there so many people here? All the Swifties getting their donuts this morning with their Taylor Swift bracelets and all that stuff. So, Have you ever seen Taylor Swift live, Faith?
I have not. No, I've seen her live stuff on YouTube, but haven't actually experienced her live. So, yeah.
Dustin and I had the benefit of seeing her live at her high school talent show.
Yep.
Because she went to, we graduated, or I don't think she graduated or whatever. What would you call it? No,
she didn't. She tried to walk with our class. She was in my class 2008, and we wouldn't let her walk. So she left freshman year, tried to come back in 2008 to try to walk. We denied it. Wasn't happening.
Dustin's a hater.
Yeah, we are, because she ruined our playground. So.
Oh, that's not
a
good.
fan.
That's wow. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. So Taylor Swift, the locals, they're just haters. All the locals are just hating.
Oh, absolutely.
So, well, and there's a lot that I don't know. So.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of haters, we got Paul the Philly Flipper in the building. He says, for Dustin's camera fun from the second most famous Paul on YouTube. There you go.
Hey, one day,
Thanks, Paul.
I'll have a 4080p camera.
There you go. 4K.
Crazy.
Is that more than 4K, Dustin?
Dude, I don't know. I just made that up. So.
Okay. So, moving on. Overrated, underrated. Number 5, Whatnot. And I want to know what Paul thinks about Whatnot.
Go for it.
Oh gosh.
With the analytical side of it's still the Wild West. Trust me. People are doing crazy stuff on there. Are you familiar, Paul? Have you gotten on the app, like seen what things are selling for? Maybe there's a guy on there selling all kinds of pens that you're rare Japanese fountain pens that you're looking for.
Rare Japanese.
So I'm familiar with it. I have not gotten on it. What I've heard, it's a live auction format. Mm-hmm. People sell in bulk, and they typically are selling at pretty low prices. So it's a great way to clear out inventory if you're trying to do that. Get good deals. I've heard concerns from some people about like, how do you make money with Whatnot? My thought is, okay, I'm hearing, live auction, so high volume sales, low price. So really, it's not that you're trying to maximize the value of each item you sell. You're just trying to clear it out in bulk quickly. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you're turning a profit, if you got items for super cheap, maybe from the bins or something. So, I'm probably going to say it's tough because like it's definitely hyped. A lot of people have hyped it up. Yeah.
It's a quick nickel platform for sure. It's not a slow dime burner, but it's getting better because now you don't have to auction things off. Now they have a marketplace to where you can post certain items. And then people can pay for it at full price. So, or whatever price that you think is what you want to sell it for. So it's evolving, but it's still a wild west of reselling platforms for sure. Because the fee structure to me is super confusing. Mm-hmm. It's a commission fee of 8%, but then there's a 30-cent processing fee and then there's a 2.9%. I don't even know what they call it. I guess another processing, a 2.9 processing fee on top of the 30 cents.
Okay.
But that's after fees. That's after shipping and tax.
Okay.
So the 8%. Yeah. So the 8% is just the gross of the sale. And then the net is the 2.9 processing fee plus the 30 cents. It's confusing.
Okay.
And a lot of people they don't understand that lingo when it's spelled out. So if they're selling stuff for like $1, they're not like making any money because that 30 cents is like, they're taking it all day long.
Yeah, taking 30% of your
so
off the top. I think I'm going to have to say underrated. And this is kind of like me disagreeing with myself because I've a lot of times I've been like, why is this so hyped up? And I think because I'm not understanding that, it has to be underrated, because like obviously it's kept growing, so there's something there. And so if someone looking in from the outside like me is having questions, but it's still growing like that, it's probably underrated.
And it's caused all the other reselling platforms to pivot. Poshmark is doing live sale. eBay's looking to doing live sales, which is crazy. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, they've been just trailblazing that. It's wild.
So, Faith, what is your thoughts?
So the logical side of my brain would say underrated as well for the reasons that Paul gave. But the other side, like the reselling part of me now, again, I have not done my first, whatnot show yet. I've been on the app quite a bit. I bought stuff from people, but I just still feel like it's overrated. But that's also because I like to go out and I like to buy for good deal, like find for good deals, things that are going to sell and give me at least a $30 profit. So like I like to try to find the higher end stuff. Does that always happen? No. And I know based on your location and where you're at, that's just not achievable, sometimes, certain states and stuff. So I totally get that. But for me, it feels a little bit like I'm not valuing my time as well as I would like to, if I were to sell on whatnot, because I want to be I want my profit margins and just my overall profit to be higher. So
that's a great point. And a lot of people don't see that. Like, what is the hour that you're spending on? What's the time? Like, are you making $50 an hour or are you making $10 an hour?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then for something as valuable as time, we can't buy time. So people have to think about that. They really do. And Dustin and I, when we're starting to get the groove of it to where it's like we don't want to be on there no more than like an hour and 30 minutes. So we're flying through stuff. If stuff doesn't sell, then we'll save it to the next auction or we run it at the end. But we've been successful at it only because we have certain areas to where we can get inventory at super cheap rate, and we start the auction at what we pay for it. And
good for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. And people buy it. So
yeah.
And we're doubling our money. I did the math. Like every time we doubled our money.
Congrats. That's fantastic. Look, for those who are doing their numbers, speaking of my Reseller Genie, like for those who are keeping track of their numbers and actually know how profitable they are and if they're turning a profit, by all means do it, But if you're not, if you just think that you're profitable and you're selling on whatnot, like I would just even beg my fellow reselling friends, please, do the numbers, make sure that this is worth your time because time is money.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, Dustin and I, when we are done with the auction, all the numbers are already generated on there for that auction. And Dustin and I will spend 30 minutes to 40 minutes like just looking at the numbers. Like what's selling well, what's not selling well compared to the last auctions, what are some things that we need to buy that can sell better or not, what are some things that we don't need to buy going forward. And then the good thing about it too is the buyer always pays for shipping, so that really helps us. It's everything gets taken out immediately, so we don't have to wait on that. And then people don't understand also that Dustin and I, we're selling like 60 things in auction. That's another like an hour and a half of us packing stuff.
Yes.
Right.
So it's you got to put that into effect too. So I digress. Next up, number 6, Dustin.
Number 6, the Kentucky Derby.
So
I've never been.
Yeah, I've never been either. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, most people haven't been.
That's true.
Yeah.
Paul
looks like somebody that would bet on the ponies. Put some money down on the ponies.
Yeah, it's funny. So her sister and her husband were in town yesterday, and they're from Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was with my brother-in-law, and we were driving to pick up food, and he's watching the Kentucky Derby on his phone.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's obligatory if you live down there. You have to. You have
to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say overrated. I might look like someone who bets on the ponies, but I do not. I don't get the big deal.
It's interesting.
Like, something you got to be there to experience, kind of like live music. It's totally different than listen to a song on the radio.
Yeah,
so it's probably something like that. But from where I'm sitting, I think overrated.
Nice. My wife and we watched it all day yesterday, and she was like, "Man, I want to go." She was like all about it. She was like, because they do such a good job like creating storylines of the different horses, where they come from, the breeds, the lineage, and like the people that own it, and the jockeys. Like, how it is with sports, they always want to make it bigger, make a big story out of it. But how much mint that they buy for all the mint juleps that they make during the Kentucky Derby. They said it was like 10,000 pounds of mint just to make all the mint juleps.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's interesting. Where are you located in?
Yeah, so we're in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not DFW. What is that? The
DMV.
DMV.
No, not
Okay.
DMV.
I know there was like. Yeah. Right.
Yes,
what is the D? Delaware? Is it Delaware? Mm-hmm. Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia?
Virginia.
Yep.
Gotcha. So, what do you think about the Kentucky Derby, Faith?
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm so ignorant. Like I don't even have the right to have an opinion. I was going to say overrated, but then you started, naming off how they do it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really have hardly seen any of it. So I was like, maybe that sounds pretty neat. But I'll stick with overrated for now.
There was I think they said there was 50,000 people there in attendance.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes was there.
Patrick Mahomes was there.
Yeah.
And his wife. So Dustin, we need to go next year.
There you go.
Okay.
Maybe
You paying, right?
Maybe we'll change our minds and come meet you guys there.
Yeah, there you go. Drink some mint
Or we
juice.
should
Dustin
invest
will
in
wear
a
a
horse.
fancy hat.
Let's buy a horse to put in the race. Call it the Nashville Flippers horse.
One of the horses, they're like 1.5 all day long, like these horses.
Easy. Let's just sell one.
That's another level, man.
Put it up on Whatnot.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Dustin.
Yeah. Well, that's another level. I think the purse was like $3 million, something like that, for winning the Kentucky Derby. So
should put it all on Mage.
There you go. All right. Next up, number 7, the Goodwill.
Oh gosh, I feel like my answer would have been different a year ago. I would say underrated, but you have to know which ones are good. I feel like there's a lot of people, everybody just says, "Oh, Goodwill's amazing," and at least my experience here in Maryland, about half of them are usually really good, but the other half, they're just like flops, and they're in close proximity, like within 10 minutes of each other. So I don't know. I would say underrated. Okay. I love Goodwill. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say underrated as well, because I've seen her go into a Goodwill and come out with, a couple $100 worth of inventory, and I go into the Goodwill and I don't see a couple $100 worth of inventory.
It's an art for sure. Yeah.
I bought some clothes for myself at Goodwill, but I've never thought I'd be able to turn a profit on this. Yeah. So underrated.
It's funny. Yeah, it's you got to be a special person to kind of almost like tunnel vision, find the profitable items, like a scavenger hunt, right, Dustin?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on. Number 8. This is a good one. I don't even know if you have one of these close by, but
We do.
I hope you do. Crumble cookie.
So, but we haven't had
we haven't been there.
We've had Insomnia Cookie, and then Crumble Cookie opened closer to, or not closer to us, but close to us, and we have not tried Crumble Cookie yet.
what is insomnia cookie?
Insomnia Cookie, right?
Yeah, so
Put you to sleep.
It's
put you to sleep.
No. So it's local to Baltimore. I don't think they have locations
really?
elsewhere.
Okay.
But their shtick is that they deliver cookies like at
Midnight.
any night.
1, 2,
Oh.
So yeah, you can get cookies delivered to your door at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Mhm.
So that's what Insomnia Cookies is
People
known
love
for.
it.
They're great.
Yeah.
And they will bring you
Snickerdoodle.
milk too.
Oh.
yeah.
Fresh milk and cookies at 3 a.m. It's amazing. You're up
Yeah.
listing late at night. Order some Insomnia Cookies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's underrated for sure.
Yes, yeah. But Crumble Cookie, I've heard amazing things, but I've not
Yeah.
tried it.
What's the model? Like, what do they do?
It's probably the same deal. They have
Like giant
think-
cookies.
yeah, they have like these huge cookies, and I think the shtick is that every week there's like a new rotation of cookies.
Ooh.
That was every
New
month.
flav-
Was it every month or every week?
It's every week.
Nah, man.
Yeah, it's every week,
Yeah.
Dustin, because Brittany, that's one of the first things she does every Monday morning is she checks the app to see which cookies are available this week. So that's the shtick. So it's like, oh, I want to try this one, or I want this one, and I got to get it this week, or else next week they're not going to have. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like if
that's
Baskin
underrated.
Robbins only had like 10 flavors a week, and then they
Oh.
just rotate the flavors.
Keep rotating.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
that's the
that
shtick.
sounds underrated. We got to check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
And they got ice cream too.
Oh, ice cream?
Their ice cream there is solid.
I've never had their ice cream,
Did
Dustin.
they
Yeah,
do
you
like
can buy it
ice
in
cream
ice cream.
sandwiches with their cookies?
Oh.
I bet you can make it. Like
Mm.
get the ice cream and then
That sounds amazing.
Oh
Sounds like-
We're
man.
going to Crumble
Sounds like
Cookie, guys.
10,000 calories. Yeah.
Yeah, how big are the cookies?
Yeah, they're huge. They're like, they're enough. You can cut them in fourths, and it's like a size of a regular cookie.
isn't that's what their calories are based off? Is that fourth?
Yeah, like the fourth. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they're huge cookies, and all the businesses buy them.
Mhm.
You know how it is. You bring them into the salesmen bring them in. They're trying to all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things, but.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
crumble cookie. All right. Number 9, the Goodwill bins. Overrated, underrated.
So again, I'm a little ignorant about this. I've been to the bins for sure. I've had good experiences and not so great experiences. I would say that they are overrated, but again, I really think that depends on your location. And I feel like I can't have much of a say in it because one of the health conditions I have is I actually have like a pretty severe mold allergy.
Yeah, we don't want you in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it and you can do it, but then, you're going to pay for it. Obviously, when you go into Goodwill, same situation, but there's not as much because there's some, things have been kind of shaken off and dusted off, a little bit at least. So hopefully. So, yeah, I don't have that. I can't say too strongly about that. I would say a little bit overrated just based on the stories that I've seen from people and the things that I've heard. So,
It's a lot. It's a lot for sure.
It is a
Paul,
lot.
are you getting down and dirty in the Goodwill bins?
I've never
first?
been to the Goodwill bins. I watched a Harry Tornado video where he went to the Goodwill bins. He found some good stuff there.
Yeah.
how about you guys? What do you guys think of the bins?
It's a lot. It is a lot. It's super overwhelming. You really got to zone in.
Yes.
The first time I took Dustin to the Goodwill bins, he was like, I got to get out of here.
Right.
The
Like, he
kids
was
are
so
eating tortas off the
overwhelmed.
floor. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't know what to think.
Yeah, there was moms
crazy.
bringing in their kids with their lunches off to the corner, just they spend the whole day there.
Nope. People
And
going
it's-
nuts. The carts come out. People just start running. I'm like, what is
Yes.
going on?
Right.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
sounds
lot.
stressful. That sounds like a stressful way to make money.
Mhm.
We found some
Overrated.
stuff.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we did find some stuff, and it is by the pound, so
Yeah, the prices you can't ignore those. Like those are fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So We've never done it enough to really give a good yes or no, because again, it's that time factor, right? So people are spending their whole day there. They're spending 8 hours a day like it's their full-time job, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're spending 8 hours a day. So what is that 8 hours actually getting you? What are you making out of those 8 hours? Are you making $100 after taxes and all that stuff? Or are you making like $20? You know, it's kind of a give and take. So Dustin and I are lucky enough to have a Amazon distribution center here in Nashville. So all the liquidation goes everywhere. So we can literally spend 20 minutes in one of those places and hopefully come out with like $1,000 worth of
If
stuff.
it's a good day.
If it's a good day. And we know if it's a good day because we've done it for so long. And literally the 20 minutes that you're there is the most crucial time because it's stuff's not being restocked. It's you go in and find stuff and then you're out. You're in and out, you know? So, yeah. All right. So the last one, overrated, underrated, number 10, Dustin.
Game shows.
All right. I'm going to say underrated because I don't watch game shows. And so I don't think of them as like being particularly fantastic, but usually if I see a game show, I'm watching it. Like if it's on TV somewhere where I'm at, I'm into it. So for that reason, underrated.
Okay. Paul, what's your favorite kind of game show? You must what are you guys like in your like early 30s? Like late 20s, something like that?
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
So like Nickelodeon, did Nickelodeon have any game shows? Like us growing up, we're a little older. So we had like Figure It Out, Double Dare, like those Nickelodeon game shows, you know, like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Those are like super nostalgic to us. But what kind of game shows is Paul watching? Steve Harvey, Family Feud.
I've seen some Family Feud. Steve Harvey, he's a funny guy. Have you ever watched Wipeout?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a game show, right? Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
I like Wipeout. I think
Wipeout, like American Ninja Warrior kind of stuff.
I missed some American Gladiators.
Every time I went to a hotel, I'd watch American Ninja Warrior.
Isn't it weird with the stuff you watch when you're in a hotel? It's like stuff you would never watch at home, and it's just like on.
It's so true.
And you sit there and watch it, and you're like, "What are you watching?" It's like, "I'm watching Cheers." What do you watch? You know?
Yeah, I'm watching some sci-fi movie from the 70s.
It's weird. So, Faith, what's your favorite game show?
Oh gosh, I don't watch many at all, so I don't have much to say with that. Do they still do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Does that count?
I don't know. I think
that counts.
they do. Do they not? That does count. When it was like on, that was like
that's just more nostalgic for me because like we would watch that growing up and it was so cool, you know, like being little and like seeing that and seeing the money meter and all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't have much. I have not seen many, but I'd say that one. So.
Okay. I know that, like you were saying, Faith, growing up, I mean, the whole family would stay there. I would sit next to my dad, and we would try to answer all the questions, and it was just different back in the day, you know? $1 million was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Now it's like, it's a lot of money, but I need a little more than $1 million.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
You know? It's weird.
It's so true. It is weird. Yeah.
I saw a TikTok reel came through. It was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was like for $500,000. The guy decided to walk away, but it was like, what are these? Is not a Pokemon.
Oh,
it was the easiest thing I've ever. Like he walked away. It was ridiculous. I can't tell you which ones were up there, but it was.
Yeah.
I just punched the wall after seeing.
Mama
that.
with the camera is saying, what is A&W is filming season 15 and 16 this week. My son's coaches are there.
American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. Side note, Ninja Warrior is the reason I resell. My sons train and compete in the sport and all the profit goes to that. Wow, that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very neat.
Yeah. See, we're learning all kinds of stuff today.
Yes.
You know, Paul used to sell pins. Mama with the camera, his son competes in American Ninja Warrior. You look like you liked American Gladiators growing up, Paul.
I've never watched American Gladiators.
Really?
Yeah.
Not like a Glacier fan. They all had like weird names like Laser and Glacier and.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I haven't.
It was
heard
cool. Yeah,
Now
it was cool. Yeah, you got to.
Next time I'm at a hotel, I'll be watching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So thank you so much for answering Overrated, Underrated, and I do want to give a chance. We want to give like a little tour of like what my Reseller Genie looks like for the people that are listening at home. Come over to YouTube or Spotify and check out the video, and they're going to give a little tour of what the application actually looks like. And if you guys have any questions, of course, DM any one of us, and we'll answer those to the best of your ability. So take it away, Paul or Faith.
All right, cool. I'm gonna try and share my screen.
All right.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
And for those of you guys who are just joining us too, like I mentioned before, my background is in reselling. My husband's background is in accounting. I did not know what I was doing with my numbers as a new reseller. This was 5 years ago now. And Paul helped me, create something really basic for me, which we eventually turned into this web application that you can see. And guys, I can't tell you like how many people already this year that we've had tell us, come back and say, oh my goodness, tax filing was so much easier because I could use my reports from my Reseller Genie. All of my numbers were in one place. So that's kind of what we do. Like all of your reselling numbers in one place here. And we'll just give you like a really just kind of quick streamlined tour of how this works.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're looking at the management dashboard. Everyone has access to this, and it gives you a big picture overview of your business. So we got the last 13 months showing us sales, total cost of goods, of course, and net profit.
And for reference, which platforms did you bring over? Is this just eBay information, or is this Poshmark too?
I think it's some eBay and some Poshmark.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It's just test data though.
Yeah.
Then you scroll down, it gives you a breakout of your the value of your inventory by department. And then it shows you like sales by department. Scrolling down some more, you can see like your inventory balance over time. Also estimated income tax liability. For the people who are more numbers oriented than chart oriented, you've got all your numbers down here, or in the charts above. Moving on to our sales tab. This is going to be for folks on premium and ultimate only who have the sales analytics. But you've got some nice selectors up here, so you can see current day, week, month, so on and so forth. And at the top, there's 3, summary statistics for gross profit, average sale price, sell-through rate. And then as you scroll down, there's some nice helpful charts. You can see your profit and your number of sales by department. You can drill down and see category, subcategory, and even brand.
Oh, wow.
And I'll show you how we can make that a little bit more useful in a second. But moving down some more, we can see like gross profit by platform, just, percentages. So like this person does a lot of selling on eBay, a little bit on Poshmark. And that can kind of be helpful if you're paying for cross-posting services to see like, hey, how much money am I making by cross-posting to other platforms? We also show gross profit by days listed. So it breaks it up into like 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, so on and so forth. And that tells you, am I doing a good job sourcing inventory? Am I getting stuff that people want? So that's, a helpful insight to have. And then this last chart here shows you your total number of sales and your average sale price based on how long it took the item to sell. So the goal with this chart is trying to remove some of the emotions from decision making about like accepting an offer. If someone offers something that's like less than what you have an item listed for, if you come down and look at this chart, you might see, oh yeah, once I hit the 90-day mark, my average sale price goes down a lot, and this item has been listed for 100 days, so I should probably just take this off or cut my losses, so on and so forth. Or your data might show you something different. So that's kind of the beauty of this chart. It helps you to be a little bit more analytical about making those decisions.
Nice.
Something Faith mentioned earlier was the ability to just filter your sales data in My Reseller Genie. So most of the time with sales analytics, you'll only have a couple options that you can filter by. But with Genie, you can filter by any information that you're tracking in Genie. So like item title, department, category, subcategory. This is like a long list that you can use to filter. And so when I type in, item title contains black, so that's going to show me only the items where black is in the item title. And all of these charts above update with that information.
Oh, wow.
So then, like, remember, before subcategory was pretty overwhelming to look at, but now it's a lot cleaner, and we can see, like, all right, blazers and suit jackets, $190 of gross profit. That's just like a little bit of a flavor of what the sales analytics can do for you. We mentioned you can track inventory in My Reseller Genie. You don't need to, it's optional, but if you use the accrual inventory method, My Reseller Genie makes it easy for you. It does all the math for calculating inventory balances, which is important if you're using the accrual inventory method for when you file your taxes. And something I didn't mention before, all of these data tables, it's really easy to download them if you want to back up, or maybe you're a spreadsheet wizard and you want to do some extra analytics that's not in My Reseller Genie. It's just one click of a button and you've got a backup of your data, which is pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
We can blow through cash reconciliation. A lot of people don't do this, but if you do want to reconcile a business bank account, we do have that ability, so you can see
that's good.
money your business has. And then expense detail is one of the last tabs. So this is for premium and ultimate users, and you can connect your bank account, you can connect a credit card, and that information gets pulled into Genie automatically for you.
Yeah, so all of your other business expenses, they can just come right in. Super easy to use. It's just going to make keeping your numbers organized really, really simple for you.
That's awesome. Now, I know for some people, this may look like super overwhelming if they're not used to seeing any kind of this accounting information.
Yeah.
What do you know, like, I wouldn't say like the age range of your customers currently, because I would say like someone that's a little bit older is probably a little more intimidated by using the computer and putting all this, and they're more like a pen and paper kind of person.
Yeah.
Can you say like the average, like, do you have that data?
Yeah, we don't.
If you had to guess, though, honestly, we have quite a few.
We have a big spread.
We have a big spread, but there's a lot of people in their 50s and 60s using Genie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people came over from GoDaddy,
Gotcha.
and then a lot of eBay sellers, because we've tapped into that market. So yeah, we have people all across the board. But I will say, if you are feeling intimidated, first of all, know that you're not alone. I think that the topic of accounting is just, it can be overwhelming for a lot of us. I know that it was for me personally, because guys, like, this is not my area of expertise, but if I can do it, you can do it. And I really believe that. But
because I know a lot of people probably, like, as Paul's going through this, probably like, all right, I checked out. Like, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is way better. I'm telling you guys, this is way better than a spreadsheet. Like, I do accounting, so like a spreadsheet's like second nature to me, but this is way cleaner. It's more user friendly. It keeps track of what you need to keep track of. So again, if you want to use My Reseller Genie, there's discount codes everywhere, but use ours, Nashville Flippers, all caps, and you're going to get 15% off. But this is fantastic. And yeah, anything else that you want to show us before we get out of here, Paul?
Yeah, I think the last thing would just be the profit and loss statement. So like Faith was talking about, one of the points of Genie is so you have all your information in one place. So then you can run this report at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes, and you've got all your information right here.
Just give it to your accountant or your CPA, and you are ready to go. It's awesome.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I know Mama with the Camera had a question, and this might be something you can, you don't have to answer here. Maybe send her a DM or something. She was saying that mine shows large amounts of sales listed as unknown in the profits and sales chart you just showed. Did I do something wrong? So I don't know if that's a common mistake or if that's something just for her. Maybe she forgot to upload something.
Yeah, no, I can address that now. You didn't do anything wrong. So eBay sales, when they come in, don't have that information. So you can either match those to inventory from eBay to pull that information over, or you can add it manually. We have a bulk edit process you could use, or double click on a sale to add that information. We're actually currently working on a way to improve our eBay tech right now so that we can get that information pulled in for sales if you don't track inventory.
Okay.
But yeah, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
There you go. You're good. Mama with the Camera, you good. So thank you so much, Paul, for giving us that little tour. And I know people, they're always asking, the people that are thinking about it, sometimes you just need to see it, and you do you do a free trial? I don't know if you do or not. I can't remember if that's
so it's not a free trial, but it's like a no risk trial. So
gotcha.
If you sign up, like you put in your credit card, you'll get charged, but for 7 days you can use the program. And if you're not happy with it, just send us an email, let us know what's not working for you, and we'll send you a refund.
There you go, guys. So no risk, right, Dustin?
No risk.
No risk. No.
But I like to risk it for the biscuit, so I don't know.
That's right. There you go, Dustin. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Again, if anybody has any questions, Paul and Faith will be more than happy to answer those. So send them an email, send them a DM on Instagram, Facebook. Where else are we, Faith?
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm a little bit on TikTok. I just started that, but we respond to Instagram and Facebook. I'll drop our email address in the chat too, in case anybody wants to shoot us an email.
What is the email address so the people listening at home can send you?
Sure.
Yeah, it's support@myresellergenie.com.
Gotcha. There you go, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Anything else for the people? Oh, one more question. Sorry. And I meant to ask this earlier, or I meant to ask this before we get done. Goals. I always like to end it with goals. What are some goals that Faith and Paul have this coming up year for personal reasons, business reasons? Maybe Paul is going to be the next spike ball champion of Baltimore. Let us know.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give a personal goal and a business goal. So personal goal would be I'm trying to learn to play the guitar.
Oh.
So I would like to, be at the point where I could
be proficient.
Yeah, like hang out with other guitar players and not look totally stupid. That's my personal goal. And business goal, I would really like to get another platform integrated by the end of the year.
There you go. Nice. Okay. And you said you weren't musicianally inclined. Look at him, Paul. Look at him, Faith.
I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to expand my horizons.
I will say, when he puts his mind to anything, he figures it out. It's
you got that guitar player vibe, like in the band.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Just get him a jean jacket and he's in some Chuck Taylors and he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Love it.
Oh man. Okay. So for me, mine's really, really basic. I'm just trying to get to the gym several times a week because with some of my health things, it can be really hard because of chronic fatigue and things like that. So trying to get to the gym, making that a priority. As far as a business goal, I'd like to triple the amount of customers, or just triple the size of my Reseller Genie this year. So that would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, Dustin and I will do the best to spread the good word, right, Dustin?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
So we'll do our best for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This has been a treat. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Again, if you ever have any questions for Paul and Faith, shoot them a DM, shoot them an email. They'll be more than happy to answer them. And again, if you guys want to try it out, first month, 15% off. Use the code NashvilleFlippers, all caps. That's going to give you 15% off. And no risk, right, Paul? No risk. If you don't like it, maybe if it's too much for you, maybe you want to go back to the old caveman days and pull out an envelope full of receipts, and
that's what I do.
Not after today, Dustin. Not after today.
That's right. We're gonna get you, Dustin.
There you go.
There we go.
So, all right, guys. Thank you so much. Like always, my name is Ray.
My name's Dustin.
And our name is My Reseller Genie.
There you go. There you go. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all and God bless.
Bye, guys.